Taehyung stared at the elaborate invitation, feeling a familiar knot tighten in his stomach. His cousin, Minho, was getting married, and while he genuinely loved Minho, the thought of the upcoming family reunion sent shivers down his spine. It wasn't the food, nor the endless selfies. It was his grandmother, Chairman Kim, and her relentless pursuit of finding him a suitable match. This time, the stakes were higher. His grandmother had openly declared that if he didn't bring a serious partner to Minho's wedding, she would personally take matters into her own hands and arrange a series of dates. The last date she set up involved a woman who spent the entire evening discussing the merits of a chaebol marriage. Taehyung shuddered. He paced his luxurious Gangnam apartment, running a hand through his perfectly styled silver hair. As a successful fashion photographer, his life was chaotic, but fulfilling. The last thing he needed was his grandmother dictating his love life. He needed a buffer, a shield, a convincing fake boyfriend. The idea, once a fleeting thought, now felt like his only salvation. But where on earth would he find someone on such short notice? And who would even agree to such an absurd proposition? His phone buzzed. It was his assistant, Sejun. Taehyung, remember that new model we auditioned for the Aurora campaign? Jeon Jungkook? He just called. He said he accidentally left his portfolio here after yesterday's shoot. Can I tell him to come by later? Jungkook. Taehyung remembered him vividly. Striking visuals, intense gaze, a certain raw energy that had captivated his lens. He was talented, but also seemed a bit reserved. And young. Very young, though his confidence in front of the camera belied his age. A struggling model, Sejun had mentioned. The pieces clicked into place. He grabbed his phone. Sejun, tell him to come now, immediately, and clear my schedule for the next hour. Minutes later, a knock echoed through his apartment. Taehyung opened the door to find Jungkook standing there, a slightly nervous smile playing on his lips. He was dressed casually in a black hoodie and ripped jeans, looking less like a high-fashion model and more like a university student. Taehyung, I apologize for the intrusion, Jungkook began, his voice surprisingly soft. I realized I must have left my portfolio here after yesterday's shoot. Taehyung gestured him inside, his mind racing. It's no problem, Jungkook. Actually, I needed to talk to you about something entirely unrelated to your portfolio. Jungkook's barf flew out in confusion. Oh? Taehyung led him to the living room, offering him a seat. He took a deep breath. Jungkook, I'm going to be blunt. I have a problem, and I think you might be able to help me. In return, I can offer you a very generous compensation package. Jungkook's eyes widened slightly, a hint of curiosity replacing his nervousness. A problem? My family, Taehyung sighed, running a hand over his face. Specifically my grandmother. She's very traditional. She wants me to settle down, and she's threatening an arranged marriage if I don't produce a serious partner for my cousin's wedding in 2 weeks. Jungkook blinked. An arranged marriage? Yes, Taehyung confirmed, leaning forward. So, I need a fake boyfriend, someone convincing enough to fool my formidable grandmother and the entire Kim clan, someone who can spend a week with me, attend all the pre-wedding events and the wedding itself, acting completely smitten. And in return, I will ensure your modeling career takes off. I'll connect you with the best agencies, get you campaigns, pay you handsomely for your time, and perhaps even offer you a long-term contract with my studio. Jungkook sat in stunned silence, his gaze fixed on Taehyung. The offer was unbelievable. A struggling model like him could only dream of such an opportunity. But a fake boyfriend? To pretend to be in love with one of the most respected and undeniably handsome photographers in Seoul? It was insane. I don't know what to say, Taehyung. Jungkook finally managed, a faint blush creeping up his neck. This is a lot to take in. I understand, Taehyung said, a desperate plea in his voice. But please, consider it. It's only for a week, and it would genuinely save me from a fate worse than death. He knew he was being dramatic, but he needed to convey the urgency. Think of it as a challenging acting gig. You're a model, you know how to perform. Jungkook bit his lip, his eyes darting around the lavish apartment. The silence stretched between them, punctuated only by the distant hum of city traffic. The offer was outlandish, but the potential rewards were life-changing. He was at a crossroads in his career, barely making ends meet. This could be his big break, or his biggest regret. He looked at Taehyung, who looked genuinely desperate, and a strange sense of empathy stirred within him. All right, Taehyung. Jungkook said slowly. Tell me more about this acting gig. What exactly would it entail? Taehyung let out a breath he didn't realize he'd been holding. A small, hopeful smile touched his lips. Excellent. Let's discuss the finer points, Jungkook. Welcome to the performance of a lifetime.